I'm living in that 21st century, doing something mean to it. Do it better than anybody you ever seen do it.
Today's society is information overload.
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
It's time to get back on message. Time to reconnect to what's important to our community. Here comes the commentators. With today's message, here's guest commentator Dorothy R. Leavell, editor and publisher of the Crusader newspaper group.
A controversial subject in the black community that has been discussed since the recent Justice or Else march in Washington, D.C., is the lack of coverage by the mainstream media. I feel that one of my columnists, Vernon Williams, handled the subject most appropriately. He said, and I quote, "Blacks need to get over white media's snub of Justice or Else. Now consider how these news networks will send in crews that remain for days to cover a part of an aircraft found that could match one missing the previous year, or the aftermath of a weather disaster so infrequently changed that they repeat the same info and video for hours. Yet a gathering of 1 million men, women, and children of all persuasions with the unified cry of Justice or Else somehow didn't meet those dubious standards of newsworthiness. The miserable news coverage of Justice or Else is the manifestation of attitudes by the white press, where decision makers ranged between not caring about African Americans and having contempt for blacks, nonchalance, or racism for others. Take your choice. But in reality, media coverage shouldn't be our focus. What's more important is, where do we go from here? Despite the cynics, many lives were changed by the Million Man March in 1995. Now the challenge will be to use means of communication at our disposal, such as the black press, social media, churches, organizations, and celebrity exposure, to articulate our cause and make certain there is sustained focus on Justice or Else. So stop begging them, and most importantly, recognize that we don't need the affirmation of the media to legitimatize the worthiness of our cause or the capability of our potential to resolve those issues critical to black Americans. End of quote. Vernon said it so well, and I can only add an old saying, we are crying hungry with a loaf of bread under our arms. Support the black press. I'm Dorothy R. Leavell, editor and publisher of the Crusader newspaper group, the Chicago Crusader and the Gary Crusader newspapers.
You've been listening to The Commentators. The views expressed are solely their own. Sound off on today's commentary on our message board at WVON.com. Click The Commentators. #VON The Commentators.